to stop what you're doing and listen.
Hello and welcome to episode 52. I am MOSH, and that means this is the 1 year episode. 52 weeks in a year. It's week 52. 1 year down the drain. Didn't miss a week. Last week was actually pretty close because I just was not with it. So last week when I was recording this, I somehow hurt my back. Also, my voice sounds a little different. It's because my nose is not cooperating today. Clogged up. Snot dripping. Why be Scottie Pippen when you can be snotty dripping? Okay, great. So I was recording this last week because I do it every week. But the mic I use, I have to lean forward. And when I was finished, I went to sit back up normally. And my entire back just immediately went sore. Top, middle, bottom, the whole thing. I don't know what happened. All I did was sit up. So then it took a good, 4+ hours to edit it. In pain. Any movement I made hurt. Taking deep breaths hurt. Sneezing hurt. And I sneeze a lot. So then, I tried to go to sleep. And every position I laid hurt. Laying straight flat on my back was the worst. I usually lay on my side. My left side to be exact. Can't really sleep on my right side too well because then my nose, the left nostril just kind of stops working. So it's a little harder to breathe. I can still breathe, like I'm not going to suffocate, but I don't know. So I usually sleep on my left side or on my stomach. Couldn't sleep anywhere because anything I did, it hurt. So that sucked. I didn't really even sleep that night. So that was, last week was fun. I had a great time. So hopefully I can avoid that this week. What I need is one of those mic arms, like the swivel arms that you attach your mic to. I need one of those desperately. Because it would make certain things a little bit easier. And then I don't have to lean forward and throw my back out. So thanks for listening to my problems. This has been a great therapy session. But since this is the 1 year episode, I figure we should talk about some of the changes coming to the podcast. Not necessarily soon, but down the line. So I would like to add another segment to the podcast. I just don't know what it is yet. Because on the YouTube version of it, in the layout, you can see that I have 5 sections for topics, and I usually only use 4 of those, so I'd like to add a 5th. When I talk about the 20 best-selling games of the previous month, I usually throw it in there, but, I think I'll just keep that in the gaming. I used to use all of those sections when I put each gaming thing individually, but again, that takes a lot longer to edit, so that's why I just put everything gaming-related into just one, and then I call that the rundown. So I use only 4 slots. I want to use all 5. I need another segment. I don't know what to do. I didn't even think of the other 2. Like talking about gaming stuff and music stuff was already a given. But Booty God was the one that thought of the weekly pick and the weird story. So those were his ideas. And we need another one. So I got to think about that, adding something else to it. The thing that has been a slight issue this past year with this podcast is that I upload it on Tuesdays. And for some reason, companies like to announce and reveal things on Tuesdays, which means I'm usually a week late talking about certain things. So, will I be changing the day that I upload this? No. The reason why I will continue to upload on Tuesdays is because I think it's just a good time to do it. I get the weekend beforehand to work on it, and it just works out nicely the way it is right now. I will make a change if I have to. So, if beforehand I know a company is revealing something big on Tuesday, and it's something that's actually worth talking about, I will postpone that week's podcast by a day. So instead of Tuesday, I will upload it on Wednesday. That way I can talk about whatever the thing is that was revealed, and I'm not a week late. So still uploading on Tuesdays. If something big happens, it'll be pushed to Wednesday. And then you're probably thinking, well, why don't you just always upload it on a Wednesday then? That's a good question. I don't always want to upload on Wednesdays because that's the middle of the week, and I feel like you just can't win in the middle of the week. We'll see how it goes. If down the line uploading on Wednesday makes more sense, then I'll make that switch. But for now, Tuesdays, with the exception of a Wednesday if something big happens. The next thing, the podcast clips. I have not stopped doing, well, I haven't done them in a while, but I'm not completely done with those. The reason I haven't uploaded a podcast clip in a while is because I just don't think anything I've talked about recently deserves its own video. In the past, I would approach certain topics in a way that if they were made into their own videos, it would make sense. Like the way I would say certain things or talk about it. Lately, I haven't been doing that, so that falls on me. But again, I just don't feel like anything I've talked about recently deserves its own video. And some of the things I've talked about off the podcast, like the COPPA thing with YouTube and that whole change, I was going to talk about that on the podcast, and I decided to just make it its own video. The PlayStation 5 wish list, the things I want to see with the PS5. Again, that was something I was going to make, or that was something I was going to talk about on the podcast, but I ended up just doing its own video. So those would have been podcast clips, but I don't know. I did them on their own. So those should be coming back, especially, going into the new year and all the new news we're going to be getting, next-gen news, announcement of new games. I mean, we're getting a lot of information, because I can tell you right now, there is not a lot of gaming stuff this week, at all. It's a good thing I saved these tweets for this week, because I would have nothing to talk about. Now you're probably thinking the things I've mentioned so far about the changes aren't even that big of a deal. And you're right, they're not that big of a deal. But I said there would be a big change. So the big change would be a complete rebranding. New name, new logo, new intro, all that. I don't have the name yet. I obviously don't have the logo yet, because I kind of need the name. But yeah, I would like to change all that. That's why I've never said the name of the podcast in any episode. Never once have I said it, because I always knew down the line that name was going to change. So if someone watched or listened to a past episode, they're not going to see the new name, but then hear me saying the old name and get confused. So I deliberately never said it, knowing this whole year that it would change. But I was new to all this. I figured we'd give it a year, just see how it goes. Turns out I enjoy doing it, so might as well keep it going and actually change it into something I like. The reason it is what it is now is because I already had this logo made. I made it back in 2016, just had it sitting around. This was a name I had floating around in my head. It's just a word I made up. And I was like, whatever, we need a name and logo. I got two of them right here, so I just threw it out there. And no one else had the name, which is nice. I do want to change the name. I just don't know what it is. That is what I am struggling with. I just want something really, really good. Something that's like a pun or really clever that combines gaming and music together. Like when you see the title, you just know what the podcast is about. Because right now when you see the name of it, you're like, I don't know what that means. A good example I can think of is the food truck called Grill 'Em All, which is a metal-themed food truck, and it's based off of Metallica's first album, Kill 'Em All. But since they grill food, they just changed kill to grill, and it's Grill 'Em All. That's a great name. Like, you know exactly what that food truck's about, and that's the kind of name I want. I just can't think of it. And I don't have to be the one to think of it. Someone else can think of it. But it also has to be a name that's not taken. I just want something clever, and my clever juices are running on empty right now. Going into episode 53, I was actually going to change things. I was going to change the intro. I was going to change the music that plays. But I figured if we're going to do a rebranding, then I was going to change all that anyway. So there's no point in working on that and changing it now if I'm only just going to do it again. So it'd be a waste of time. So the intro music will stay until the rebrand happens. I don't know when it's happening again because I don't have the name. Could be in 2 weeks, could be in 2 months, could be in 8 months. I don't know. Getting rid of the current logo kind of sucks though because I like it. I always thought it could look good on merch in some way. It kind of looks like a baseball logo. Like a logo you'd see on a baseball hat or one of their jerseys. Or maybe like a minor league baseball logo. Maybe not professional. Unless the new name starts with an E, then maybe we can keep it going, but I don't know. If not, then I'll just put that logo away and use it for something else. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have all the answers. And when the rebrand does happen, I'm not going to change the episode numbers. We're just going to keep it going from where it is. So if it starts at episode 75, or if this one ends at 75 and the new rebrand starts at 76, then it'll just be 76. It's not suddenly going to become episode 1. Oh, and the other change I was going to make is changing around the titles on YouTube. So right now I put the name of the podcast, and then in parentheses I put like whatever I talked about. So I want to change the titles a little bit. Pretty much put what I talk about first, and then the name of the podcast after. So that's just a minor change. It's not a big deal. I was also thinking about the thumbnails, but again, why work on a thumbnail redesign if I'm just going to change the name of everything in the future, and then I'll have to design another thumbnail. I've already changed it like 3 times. If I did it again right now, that'd be 4, and then for a rebrand, that'd be 5. That's too many. So thumbnails will probably just stay what they are right now. They're super simple. Oh, some other random thing happened that's just out of the blue. But when I was streaming the other day, I got a DM on Twitter. I was like, who would this be? Who's trying to slide in, you know? So I took a gander at it. And it's some clothing company. I'm not going to say who it was. Well, I just said it was a quote. Well, okay. I'm not going to say the actual name of them. It's just, okay, this is what they said to me. Hi, Mosh. The reason for messaging you is that we're looking for more streamers to be a part of our brand, and we would really like to introduce you to our ambassador program and have you join the team. You know, some people would jump on this immediately. If you accept it, all they're going to do is give you a discount code and make you promote them. It's whatever. I don't care. I looked at their clothing. It sucks. It's not good. It's very minimal. I can make better shirts than that, and that says something. So, no. If I can be better than you, why would I promote you when I could just do it myself and promote myself? I can make more money off myself than working with this company. So since I'm not someone that just jumps on every opportunity handed to them, and since I don't have dollar signs in my eyes, I responded with, I eat cereal with water and a fork, and I'm slightly dangerous. It's been over a week since they sent me that, and they never responded. It's kind of disappointing. I really wanted to see what they would say. So that's how I communicate with companies. Anyhoozles, let's just get into the one gaming thing I have this week, which are the Bluepoint tweets. So I've already talked about one of them, which is the Halloween one. They did release a tweet on Thanksgiving as well, and last week I said I was going to wait until this week to talk about it because they post on holidays apparently, and the last podcast came out on Christmas Eve. I was like, you know what, let's just wait till after Christmas because maybe there will be a Christmas tweet, and sure enough, there was a Christmas tweet, so I'm glad I waited. But New Year's is right around the corner, so I wonder if they're going to do one for New Year's. I don't know. I don't feel like waiting, so we're just going to talk about it now. So again, I've talked about the Halloween tweet, but I will go over it one more time. So that tweet said, so calm this spooky night, a symphony of rumors, not one, but two, return from shadow. A resistance to dart home as black monsters escape twisted hills, to wander lands and siphon souls. Filter your candy collections, soft from solid, and be eco-friendly. Have a metal Halloween. This is the tweet where they referenced a bunch of games. So Calm, Symphony of the Night, Resistance, Legend of Dragoon, Twisted Metal, Siphon Filter, Demon Souls, and then Eco or Ico, however you pronounce that name, which was like related to Shadow of the Colossus, which they remade or remastered, whatever they did. But as I was looking into it more, something stood out more than any of the other games, and that is Legend of Dragoon. Now, I've never played Legend of Dragoon, so if any references are made to it, they're just going to fly over my head. But apparently, the main character is named Dart, and it says a resistance to dart home as black monsters, and black monsters are apparently a thing in that game as well. I've also seen Legend of Dragoon fans say that the moon plays a part in the game, and if it glows red, that is also like a significant thing. Well, they attached a GIF to this tweet, and it is of a moon that is glowing red. So to me, the Halloween tweet, although it references a bunch of games, the Legend of Dragoon stands out the most because of the GIF that they added. Now on to the Thanksgiving tweet. To classics we play, our blood, sweat, tears give thanks. To family and fans, eager you stay, cheers rekindle flames, thanks. Today feast, tomorrow rest, soon the beast freed from jest. Temptation we shun, then on to the next. We reset to further adorn the Genesis, an era reborn. This one leaned more towards, I guess, Demon Souls. I never played Demon Souls, but it says rekindle flames. You know, you have the bonfires in the Dark Souls games. I don't know if that's in Demon Souls. I would think it is. And then beasts freed. This tweet says more Demon Souls, but it says rekindle flames. When you rekindle, that means like it's something you lost that's been brought back. Like a relationship. You were with someone, it kind of fizzled out, and then after some time away, you get back together, and things are good again. Like you rekindled that. So the rekindle part, I think, is important. And then at the very end, it says an era reborn. So we have all the rumors of Demon Souls remake, possibly Legend of Dragoon, or Bluepoint's working on this big backwards compatibility thing. So an era reborn could say that. If you're bringing back a bunch of games with backwards compatibility. I'm pretty sure Sony filed a patent where you could remaster games through backwards compatibility. And they also attached a GIF to this tweet, and it is of a person teasing a dog. So there's a glass table, the dog is underneath of it, the person is dropping a french fry onto the table, but the dog thinks it's hitting the ground, so it's searching for the french fry even though it's on the table. Very similar to where if you pretend you have a ball in your hand and you throw it and the dog goes running, but you never had a ball in your hand. That's teasing. They are telling you that they are teasing us. They're doing it through GIFs. Now to the Christmas tweet. 'Twas the night before excitement mounts. In stealthily wrapped boxes, creatures stirred for announce. Hope for adventure and victory spread. Visions of heroes enhanced in their heads. We sprang forth to play, exclaimed at the sight. Happy gaming to all, there'll be no sleep tonight. The biggest line in this to me is visions of heroes enhanced in their heads. This makes me think backwards compatibility now, or the remastering through backwards compatibility. Visions of heroes enhanced in their heads. You know, when they reference all these games and the fan bases get excited, you're thinking of those characters in modern day graphics. Remastered, remake. What do they look now? So visions of your heroes enhanced in your head. That's the most important line in that whole thing to me. And then there's a GIF attached to this as well of the cat that has like a little Santa hat on its head. And when it looks to like the left, it smacks its face in the right. And then when it looks to the right, it hits it in its left. And it's just going nuts. Which is also like a tease. So what does this all mean? I don't know. Demon Souls was obviously the biggest rumor going into all this. And Jason Schreier himself kind of like pushed that. He has not specifically said they were remaking Demon Souls. I guess on some site there was a poll saying, what game is Bluepoint remaking? And he voted for Demon Souls. And I guess the voting was public. Like you could see who voted for what. He said Demon Souls. Someone then asked him if they were remaking Demon Souls. And he replied with just a smiley face. So like he hasn't outright said this is what they're doing. But he's also kind of teased towards it. And he's like a big time industry insider. Like when he says things, it's more often than not true. Like 99.7% true. But again, he didn't actually say it. He was voting and he used an emoji. So it's like, that's what makes you want to think it's Demon Souls. But then you have all the stuff pointing towards Legend of Dragoon. And the Legend of Dragoon fans are just, they're crawling from the ground. They have arrived. They have made their presence known, and they are convinced it's Legend of Dragoon. Maybe it's both. In the one tweet, they said not one, but two. Maybe they are making two games. Maybe it's Demon Souls and Legend of Dragoon. Well, let's take a closer look at Bluepoint here. They have current job listings as of October. Austin, Texas is where they call home. Austin. Hill country, lakes, and live music. University town meets high-tech industry meets creative types. For these and many other reasons, Bluepoint Games is glad to call Austin home. Bluepoint is always on the lookout for elite game development talent to grow our team. Any current job openings are posted to the left, and we also invite you to send your resume to jobs@bluepointgames.com if you don't see an opening that directly applies to you, but you're confident we'll be a stronger company with you on board. Yeah, like it doesn't say they're looking for a janitor, but if you want to be a janitor, hit them up. Benefits: health, dental, optional vision, life, simple IRA, paid time off, paid holidays, cell phone reimbursement. Perks: free games, stocked kitchen, company activities, professional development, expense reimbursement, free tickets to hockey, baseball, and basketball games with an on-site gym. You had me at stocked kitchen. So I'll be heading to Austin, Texas, as I am now the new CEO of Bluepoint Games. It happened really quickly, but you gotta take the opportunities as they're given to you. And not to rain on anyone's parade, but they're actually remaking Bubsy 3D. So now you know. That's all I got for gaming this week. That's it. It sucks. There's nothing. Unless I'm forgetting. Well, I'm probably forgetting something. I don't know. There's a lot running through my head. I mean, it's a holiday week. We had Christmas. I'm still working on these collector videos, which the coin one should be done, but a certain company seemed to have left one coin out and duplicated two of them. So I can't upload the video with one coin missing, so I'm waiting on that. Then I completely forgot about my best of video, because every year I do a best of. It just completely slipped my mind, so I need to do that. I'll get to it. Oh, my PS4 almost broke the other day with the new update that came out. That was really fun. System update comes out. I'm downloading it. I have it to where it automatically resets the PS4 when it's done. So it finishes downloading, and then it goes to that black screen where it installs it. It froze. So I let it sit there for a little bit to see if it would unfreeze, and it never does. Does anything ever unfreeze after it freezes? Probably not. And then the PS4 just shut off on its own. So I turn it back on, and it immediately goes to that same frozen screen. Like there's no boot up, no logging into account, just right to that screen again. I was like, okay, that's not good. So then I hold down the power button and manually shut it off myself. Turn it back on, goes right back to that screen. So now I'm thinking we're done. It's over. It's broken. The controller wouldn't even stay on. Like you'd press the home button on it, and it would stay on for like a second and turn off. So I'm pressing buttons, nothing's happening. I start spamming that button to keep the controller on while I'm spamming other buttons on the controller. The screen goes black. Then the PlayStation logo appears, and it goes right to the login screen like nothing happened. So I log in, and then the notification comes up. It's like, update installed successfully. I'm like, was it though? Was it really installed successfully? Because I just about had a heart attack. Like, I'm okay with my PS4 breaking down the line, but can we wait till we get closer to the PS5 first? Because if that thing broke right now, I wouldn't know what to do. It's like, do you really want to buy a new one? Or just wait? And this thing is never broken, which is incredible. I don't really remember back in the day because I was so young, but I think the original PS1 we had broke. PlayStation 2 definitely broke a few times. And then we kept, like, sending it into PlayStation, and they'd fix it, and it'd keep breaking. And then we eventually got the slim version, and then it was fine. My original PS3 broke. Thank God it was under warranty. Every PlayStation I've had's broke. Except for maybe the PS1. Again, I don't really remember all that much. But the PS4 is still here. Launch day. Jet engine sounds running games. Thinking it's going to explode. It's still kicking. You're almost at the finish line, buddy. We're almost there. Alright, let's move on to music. So, Bring Me the Horizon. Surprise dropped a new EP. I'm going to call it an EP. Other people are calling it an album because it's an hour and 15 minutes long. So they just released their new album earlier this year, at the very beginning. And they're ending it with this EP. I am just going to make an assumption here and say that this is leftover stuff from the album. And instead of just trashing it, they reworked it and turned it into something else. Put some features on it and then just released it. That's just a guess. I haven't heard any of the band members even talk about this, so I don't know for sure. Anyway, the name of it is Music to Listen to, Dance to, Blaze to, Pray to, Feed to, Sleep to, Talk to, Grind to, Trip to, Breathe to, Help to, Hurt to, Scroll to, Roll to, Love to, Hate to, Learn to, Plot to, Play to, Be to, Feel to, Breed to, Sweat to, Dream to, Hide to, Live to, Die to, Go to. Let me just repeat that real quick for anyone that missed it. Music to listen to, dance to, blaze to, pray to, feed to, sleep to, talk to, grind to, trip to, breathe to, help to, hurt to, scroll to, roll to, love to, hate to, learn to, plot to, play to, be to, feel to, breathe to, sweat to, dream to, hide to, live to, die to, go to. Say that 5 times fast. You can't. I don't know what to make of this. I didn't have any, whatever going into it. Expectations. I didn't have any expectations going into this. And I was still left confused. It's very weird. At one point, Ollie the vocalist talks for like 10 minutes. I think it was 10 minutes. I didn't time it, but it was a while. And he's just talking about whatever. I think he was talking about candles, geography, how life sucks, other things. I don't know. Completely useless, completely pointless. Kind of like what I'm doing right now. But they threw it in there. I'll put a link in the description if you want to listen to it. You probably don't. I don't even know how to describe it. It just exists. Actually, let's take a look at some of these song titles. So one of the tracks is called Candy Truck / You Expected Lab Your Result Green. Song number 6. Like seeing spiders running riot on your lover's grave. And of course, the classic dead dolphin sounds aid brain growth in unborn child virtual therapy / nature healing 2 hours. Alrighty then. I'm not saying drugs are involved, but you know, that's all I got on that. I don't know what else to say about it. And you better believe I'm putting that whole title in the description. Moving on to Billboard, you know, the Billboard charts. they released their top rock songs of the decade. So let's just go over it. Number 10, Stressed Out by 21 Pilots. Number 9, Ride by 21 Pilots. Number 8, Feel It Still, Portugal the Man. Number 7, Shut Up and Dance, Walk the Moon. Saying shut up and dance with me is very rock and roll. Number 6, Heathens by 21 Pilots. Number 5, Ho Hey, The Lumineers. Number 4, High Hopes by Panic at the Disco. Number 3, Radioactive by Imagine Dragons. Number 2, Thunder by Imagine Dragons. And number 1, Believer by Imagine Dragons. Remember last week when I said Imagine Dragons weren't rock, and then I said no offense if you like Imagine Dragons? Well, the top 3 rock songs are Imagine Dragons. Whenever someone finds the rock band on this list, let me know, because I'm not seeing any. Believer is not even Imagine Dragons' best. That's probably their most annoying song. How's it number 1? Why do people like annoying music? But no offense if you like Imagine Dragons. And of course, December 28th came and went. That day marks the 10th anniversary of the death of Jimmy the Rev Sullivan, the drummer of Avenged Sevenfold. Died back in 2009. He was way too young to die. It was a real shame. It's just crazy that it's been 10 years. It doesn't even feel like it's been that long. I actually got my dog a few months after he died, and I named my dog after him. I've actually never said my dog's name on here before, so now you know that my dog's name is Jimmy. Yeah, that was a sad day. Gone too soon. And also, December 28th marked the 4th anniversary of the death of Lemmy, the legend known as Lemmy. Everyone knows who Lemmy is. So December 28th, not a good day. Alright, moving on to my weekly pick of the week. I don't know why I always say of the week. It's obviously the pick of the week. The weekly pick. It's kind of redundant to say weekly pick of the week. But I say it anyway. And I'll continue to say it. That's not part of the changes I'm making to the podcast. Redundancy will stay the same. So last week I recommended the Australian radio station, and this week I'm going to recommend my own radio station. I don't own it. It's my very own. I just signed the lease to the building last week. No. This is the radio station I've been listening to my whole life. They're celebrating their 40-year anniversary this year, so they've been around a lot longer than I've been alive. You know, I like to tell people I'm 400 years old, but the fact of the matter is I am not actually 400 years old, which might come as a shock to some people. So the station is called 98 KUPD. Play rock, hard rock, some metal, all that good stuff. And listening to it is basically what formed my musical taste of present day. Always listen to the station. Parents had it on, I had it on. I still have it on to this day. Still listen to it because a lot of the disc jockeys are the same. They play new stuff, they play old stuff from when I was a little tiny child. I remember listening to Alice in Chains, Metallica, Ozzy, Sabbath, AC/DC, Linkin Park, Tool. Like all that stuff is just burned into my brain. And when I hear certain songs at night, it's like a whole nother level of nostalgia that I can't describe, and it's also something I can't replicate any other way. Like, it's gotta be the right song at the right time at night. And it's a feeling that, again, like, I can't describe it. It's those Arizona nights, easy nights. There's something else. Truly something else. That's why I will never leave. I've made the decision since I was a child that I was born here and I will die here. So it's just like the other station. I'll put a link and you can just listen to it live wherever you live. The morning show is hilarious. Holmberg. It is censored. It's a regular radio station, so there is censorship. We are in the United States. So that part sucks, but other than that, it's good stuff. But I have to give a shout out to my home at the very last episode of the year. I couldn't have it any other way. I always give a shout out to my home, whether people realize it or not. Like my sub badges on Twitch, I have 5 of them. The first one doesn't really count, it's just white. But the next 4, a certain state flag, just so happens to have 4 colors. So on the bottom part of the flag, you have the blue, which to me represents the Colorado River, which flows through the Grand Canyon. Then you have the copper star in the middle, because Arizona is huge in copper mining. And then above that, you have the red and yellow rays coming out, which are supposed to signify either a sun rising or a sun setting. There are 13 of those rays to then represent the 13 original colonies. And that's your fun fact of the day. So one of my sub badges is blue. The next one is copper. The next one is yellow. And the last one is red. No one would realize that those are Arizona colors unless I told you. Now for the weird story of the week. They're not really weird, but I'm going to talk about two things because it's not going to take that long. But Walmart pulled a jumper from their website because it showed Santa Claus with lines of cocaine. Walmart has apologized for selling a pullover on its website that appears to show Father Christmas doing lines of cocaine. Santa is seen sitting behind a table with 3 lines of a white substance in front of him, captioned with the slogan, "Let it snow." The product's description on the Walmart Canada website said, "We all know how snow works. It's white, powdery, and the best snow comes straight from South America. That's bad news for jolly old Saint Nick, who lives far away in the North Pole. That's why Santa really likes to savor the moment when he gets his hands on some quality, grade A Colombian snow." Walmart has apologized for the sale of the product and said it had been taken down from the company's website. A spokesperson for the retail giant said these sweaters are sold by a third-party seller on Walmart.ca, and it does not represent Walmart's values and have no place on our website. Okay. I think we also have another one real quick of an angry tortoise who set his house on fire, and he looks mad. In that picture, he's plotting. The 45-year-old reptile knocked over a heat lamp onto his bed, and it caught fire. This is in Uttlesford, which is, somewhere in space. Neighbors heard the fire alarm and called 999. Firefighters put out the blaze and rescued the unnamed shell dweller. I don't know, the look of that tortoise's face, he meant it. This was arson. This was no mistake. Anyway, that's going to do it for me this week. As always, you can listen on Apple. iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, and of course on YouTube. Links in the description. I will talk to you guys next week, next year, next decade. 2019 is over, and I'll see you in 2020. Later.